Coming up, experts talk about Hollywood and Indigenous identity in films and the disruption coming from artificial intelligence. Plus, we get a recap of the Pathways Indigenous Arts Festival, and a music artist is taking the stage in more ways than one. I am Aaliyah Chavez. Join us for those interviews plus headlines from the ICT Newscast.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.
Arizona State University welcomes 3,500 Indigenous students from Arizona and across the nation. It serves one of the largest populations of Indigenous students among U.S. colleges and universities. We created a sense of place for tribal nations to create futures of their own making through community outreach and research, taught by world-class Indigenous faculty where they see a reflection of themselves and their experiences. Find community at ASU.
This is the ICT Newscast with Aaliyah Chavez.
Amadawahopa. Thank you for joining us. We start today in Alaska, where for the first time, law enforcement has compiled a list of missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. The move comes after years of calls for action from the Native community decrying a lack of information on MMIR. The Missing Alaska Natives and American Indians report shows 199 relatives went missing in the state between April and June. The new report only includes data from state troopers and the Anchorage Police Department, or APD. Authorities hope to include more agencies in future quarterly reports. Charlene Apuk from the group Data for Indigenous Justice called the report a step in the right direction.
One of the things that advocates have been asking for a really long time is for interagency cooperation, particularly across law enforcement. So just having the troopers and APD come together on something like this is really exciting for communities who have been hoping for interagency cooperation.
Now to Oklahoma, where the Cherokee are investing in a long-term strategy for narrative storytelling. Cherokee Nation businesses recently upgraded and rebranded its content hub as Cherokee Film. The nation's goal is to strengthen the Cherokee Nation's economy by amplifying television and film production in Oklahoma. Some of the newest additions to the filmmaking company include logos, web pages, social media accounts, and 4 distinct branches. Cherokee Film aims to remove the barrier for Native Americans to enter the industry and, with their Indigenous crew, provide a sustainable workforce. They have more than 30 full-time employees. By continuing to share stories, Jennifer Lauren, the senior director of Cherokee Film, hopes to, quote, create lasting change that will help diversify the stories we see in mainstream media. Well, several Native groups have raised concerns about a misuse of sacred medicine. The Native Coalition of Colorado, along with other Indigenous plant medicine activists, are protesting the Psychedelic Science 2023 conference because of their focus on plant medicines. The groups maintain that the decriminalization of some psychedelics could encourage greed, reckless handling, and abuse of said medicines. That would make these medicines harder to access in their traditional form and more expensive. Colorado decriminalized 5 psychedelic substances as part of their voter-led Prop 122, which passed last year. 3 are found in plants, including DMT, mescaline, and ibogaine. The first 2 are found in plants used by some Native people in the Great Basin and beyond. In Iowa, 2 sisters are taking action to increase diversity in a local election. Winnebago citizens Tricia Rivers and Jessica Lopez Walker are vying for seats on the Sioux City School Board. The women say they hope to create a pathway to address Indigenous issues within their local education system and to create a more inclusive curriculum. Rivers currently serves as the Siouxland project director for the social justice organization called the Great Plains Action Society. Her sister, Jessica Lopez Walker, is an artisan and serves on the Parent Advisory Committee for Native students of Sioux City Community Schools. According to the city's mayor, Bob Scott, there has never been a Native American elected to the city's school board. There are currently 5 open seats, and the general election is on November 7th. And those are the headlines for the ICT Newscast. The films Barbie and Oppenheimer received praise on their messages on feminism and history, but some Indigenous viewers have noticed the lack of representation and misrepresentation of Native people in them. ICT's McKenzie Allen-Charmley interviewed Diné filmmaker, artist, and activist Klee Benally on this topic.
Many Indigenous film critics and writers have made remarks along the lines of, if you want to include Native jokes and Native narratives within your films, you need Native writers. What is your take on that sentiment?
I think it gets into the point about the institution of Hollywood not necessarily being where we can expect justice to come from. And it's challenging the sort of business of developing these narratives at the root cause. What would permit somebody to think that Oppenheimer, first of all, is a hero and somebody who needs to essentially have a film constructed about him that is a defensive trial, that even though it portrays him as a complicated character and not necessarily in the best light at times, it sort of acts as a tool. And Christopher Nolan has been very clear about this, to celebrate what he has called one of the most important men who have ever lived. So, having that position and, the power that Nolan has to be able to then assemble a team and get the funding, the studio behind him, all the writers, even if you had Native people writing and being part of that narrative is doomed to begin with, because he was an architect of annihilation. And if you don't start with that understanding, you're starting with a frame that essentially is working to vindicate a character that for some people is a total villain. So that's, I don't think you can fix what's broken in this case with Oppenheimer. The narrative should, from a media justice analysis, the narrative should start with those who are most impacted by the violence, by the abuse, by historical traumas, and so forth, by oppression. And if we don't start from that point, if we don't start from the survivors of those people who the bomb was dropped upon, which are completely abstract, they're completely non-existent, essentially. You're just left to the imagination of somebody listening on the radio about the devastation, which is an extraordinary act of violence. The fact that Indigenous genocide is a punchline still in a film that has done the deep work of trying to hold patriarchy accountable and hold a mirror to the toxic cis heteropatriarchal political world that we're living in, is extraordinarily disappointing. And again, it just demonstrates how disconnected, how much of a blind spot there is in white liberal feminism. And this is a lack of understanding of intersectionality. It's a lack of understanding of the impacts and implications of these matters, especially right after surviving a pandemic that has disproportionately devastated Indigenous communities, to make such a callous, irresponsible joke. I mean, it's not a joke, it's a slap in the face with a massive budget that has, people maybe looking like, what was that? Where did that come from? And it was completely unnecessary and didn't need to be there. And also is probably consciously left in because it seemed like it was a nod to Indigenous people when ultimately it was a slight.
And ultimately, what are you hoping audiences take away from the Indigenous representation that is included within both films?
Yeah, well, as an advocate for media justice, I would advocate that we are critical and understand the power that these narratives have and influence in our lives, and find ways to undermine them by either not supporting them or finding creative ways to empower and use these, empower ourselves and our communities, and use these moments where there is a sort of crisis of that is precipitated through social media. It's interesting that social media is where the noise, the outrage is being made to hold, these films to some degree accountable, even though it's not necessarily impacting their bottom line. But to open up the dialogue and the questions of what is needed, what are the appropriate steps, what ways as Indigenous filmmakers should we be more accountable and more responsible to our narratives? What ways can we uplift and empower on our terms? What institutions do we need to challenge? What institutions do we need to build up and support? And for me, we start with our cultural institutions, our elders, our teachers, who are our cultural knowledge and story bearers, to inform how we should be in this world, and not get that information from mass media, mass pop cultural media, because the more we feed it, the more we empower it too. And we have to understand that dynamic. So to be intentional about media, and to also challenge it, and the commodification, exploitation of Indigenous identity, as I mentioned before, challenge the erasure of Indigenous existence. And I believe this applies critically to the fights against Indigenous mascots, the fights against any kind of stereotyping or essentializations, degradation and dehumanization, and stop playing into these industries, as I mentioned before, and empower Indigenous narratives with culturally rooted media practices.
Are there any thoughts you want to share on the entertainment industry as a whole?
This way of engaging and asking these questions and having these deep and uncomfortable and challenging dialogues, especially after watching a movie, just like getting into those like debates and these discussions, is part of a critical analysis and building critical consciousness that, allows us to build a critical understanding of how media impacts our identities and what we can do to change that.
Well, Klee Benally, thank you.
As somebody in media, like, your voice is completely essential and necessary to inform and have these discussions. So thank you for what you're doing.
Continuing the conversation on Native representation in film, a historian says the moment for Indigenous productions in Hollywood might have peaked. ICT's Mark Trahant spoke with Liza Black, a historian and the author of Picturing Indians, Native Americans in Film 1941 through 1960.
I think that this is going to sound just so terrible, but it's what I truly believe. I think that moment, that Res Dogs and Rutherford Falls movement, is over. I think that those works were in the pipeline prior to the global protests in 2020 against police violence. But I really feel that the studios only greenlighted those projects, truly greenlighted them, really funded them, really got it going and put it out there because of 2020. And we've already seen that Rutherford Falls got canceled, and Res Dogs is also coming to a close. So Res Dogs had a longer run than Rutherford Falls, but I don't feel optimistic that Hollywood is going to continue with where they were going. I worry that they gave Native people the attention they've been screaming for centuries, and that moment has come to an end because white audiences aren't demanding it the way they were in 2020 and 2021.
The Pathways Indigenous Arts Festival was held at Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino on Pewaukee Pueblo lands. This was the third year of the festival, featuring artists, filmmakers, musicians, and more. I spoke with the Poe Cultural Center's Executive Director, Carl Duncan, about the three-day event.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell us about this festival and how it was started.
Well, this festival was born out of the pandemic, out of the need to support Native artists. And in the pandemic, we saw a great need to support artists financially, as many of the venues slowed down, closed off. And so we did our best to try to find mini grants for artists, virtual programming. And as we were coming out of the pandemic, we met and we decided, what are we going to do next? And so we created this festival kind of based off of those same values of helping the community, helping Native artists. And so with the resources that we have here and other partners, we were able to create this festival that really is a place to showcase Native artists, Native performers, Native filmmakers, and invite the public to see the different talents that all these artists have. And it's such a great time and great location for this event, along with a variety of things happening throughout the weekend here in the area of Santa Fe, Pueblo Table country. We were really happy to support Pueblo artists, New Mexico artists, and other artists that came from around the country as well to this festival that we have here.
For those of us who weren't able to attend, tell us about the atmosphere and generally what people were excited to see or do or eat at this festival.
Yeah, we had a number of food vendors here from around the local area here. So people were able to mingle, socialize, see old friends, visit with each other. That's what the whole, feel is here in at Pathways. It's really a community event. And so we have a lot of artists who really continue to come up to us and really thank us. We try to provide water, we go out to them, we check with them, we visit with them. Everything we do, again, is for the artists. And so we really do our best to support them and anything that they might need. We have a full slate of over 30 different performers. Every single day, there's a lineup about every single hour, either indoors or outdoors, of Native performers. Sometimes it's their first time to perform. Sometimes they're coming from different states and they want the opportunity to show their music. And it's a really festive atmosphere. And people just like to hang out, to go inside, go outside, and be able to see and visit the different tribal arts that are being shown, whether it's jewelry, pottery, 2D art. There's a wide range of different art forms that are showcased there.
Tell us how much this festival has grown since it was first started.
Yeah, since our first annual, we really didn't know, what was going to happen. We really thought, we'll build it and see if they come, and we're able to have a event where we had a few thousand people come to the event, and we had about 300 artists. This year, we've grown to about 350 or so or more artists. Our slate of performers and filmmakers have expanded to over 50 types of different programming. Everything's free and open to the public. We're really proud of that we're able to provide all these unticketed events that support these Native creative artists, and that the public is able to interact with them and ask questions and be able to easily access the event. So we've grown and we kind of continue to pull in more and more artists, performers, as they kind of see this place as an up and coming and a new venue for Native artists.
We know that events like this aren't put on by just one person. So tell us about the team and the effort that you all had to do in order to put this on.
Yeah, as a tribal museum, we're really thankful for the entire staff that we have here at the Poe Cultural Center. And year-round, they all, work to find the resources, to coordinate, to plan everything that makes Pathways successful. We also work with other tribal departments here, and they help us and support us with vehicles and other resources that we have. The tribe also has other resources in the more commercial side of the tribe, and so they're able to support us as well. We also were able to get grant funding and other support from other tribal nonprofits, private foundations, and federal grantors as well. You piece all those together and it creates an amazing event. I think everyone is excited to continue to support this, see it grow and see where it goes. Again, just always focused on the arts and the arts community, and that's what we're about. And I really thank everybody for supporting us and believing us and helping us support artists.
We only have a short time left, but tell us where you ultimately hope that this festival goes.
We really hope to just continue to support Native artists year round. We have a small little ecosystem of Native arts and crafts programming year round. We provide arts classes for free to the public, and after that they're able to exhibit in our museum, to showcase their work in our gift shop, and also to be able to showcase at the different annual festivals that we have during the winter and also in Pathways. So we're trying to find a sustainable place for Native artists so that they're able to be trained, to be able to have a kind of community culture-based way of developing themselves, and us as a cultural center are able to support this arts community.
Well, Carl Duncan from the Poe Cultural Center, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Performer Rae Zaragoza has released her debut album, Hold That Spirit, and is currently on tour performing throughout the country. Aside from that, she will also be performing in an upcoming Peter Pan musical, playing the role of Tiger Lily. I spoke with Rae Zaragoza to hear more.
Thanks for having me.
The last time we had you on was to talk about Netflix's Spirit Rangers. Tell us about your journey since then.
Yeah, it's really been a beautiful, creative couple years. Working on Spirit Rangers was so fun. And then I worked on my album, Hold That Spirit, over the course of the past couple years. And during that time, I was going through a lot in my personal life. I went through a big breakup and all kinds of things that turned into some beautiful songs that I got to release on this new album. And then I was recently cast in a new musical. It's a new and reimagined version of Peter Pan, with additional book written by Larissa Fasthorse. And so Tiger Lily has gotten a lot of renovations and improvements, and she's now really empowered, and it's a much better representation of the Indigenous characters in the show, and I'm really excited to get to portray her in this new and empowered place.
I want to learn more about your album. Tell us about the inspiration behind it.
Yeah, so the album is called Hold That Spirit, and it's all about really holding on to the spirit within when you're going through tough times. I got engaged, and then the relationship fell apart, and I started to feel like I was losing sight of myself, but I had to hold on to the spirit within in order to move forward and figure out who I am outside of this difficult situation. And so there's a lot of songs on the album that are about empowering yourself as, entering your 30s as a woman. What does that mean? And really deciding who you are and not letting someone else decide who you are for you. It's all about just kind of rediscovering yourself and holding on to the spirit within through all the difficult times.
As you mentioned earlier, we will be able to see you very soon in the Peter Pan musical. I want to talk about Tiger Lily because many people have historically seen that character as one that perpetuates harmful stereotypes about Native Americans. How do you approach that role, given that that's something that is harmful to people?
Absolutely. I think what made me want to do this character was the fact that the amazing Larissa Fasthorse has taken the book of the musical and completely rewritten all of the Tiger Lily so that it's reflective of Indigenous people, actual Indigenous people. And, Larissa Fasthorse has been such an amazing and respected Indigenous playwright for a very long time. And I actually got to be in one of her plays 16 years ago. And so I knew that I could trust her and wanted to do with this character. And so I was really excited to get to be the vessel for this new version. And what I can say, I mean, I'm excited for everyone to see it, but what I can say is that, you know, in the original, Tiger Lily was this silent daughter of a chief in a fictional tribe, and she no longer is any of that. Like, now she's a leader herself, and actually is a leader of a tribe of different people from different, Neverland is now composed of people from different indigenous tribes from all over the world, and they all come to Neverland to preserve their cultures. And so I think that's something that's really beautiful. And I'm really excited about this new version of Tiger Lily, where she gets to speak up for herself. It's no longer perpetuating a stereotype of a silent, powerless girl. She's now incredibly empowered and gets to speak up and have a much larger part of the story.
We know that right now you're on tour. Where can our viewers find you and potentially see you play?
I will be on tour all over the country, from Los Angeles to New York, about 10 or 12 dates all over the country. You can check out my website, rayzaragoza.com, to see all of my tour dates.
Fantastic. Well, Ray, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And that's a slice of our Indigenous world. For all the latest, visit ictnews.org. From all of us in the newsroom, stay safe, my relatives.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.